Hello guys, how are you doing? My name is Michel and today I'm going to go ahead and showcase my account. It's been a little bit over a year since I started playing this game, and if we go to the characters archive, it's basically been a year and like 3 days or something. I've made some pretty good progress, and I'm going to be showcasing my account. I really do hope that you guys enjoy this video. And if you have any comments or any questions, just type them below in the comments. So first, we're going to start with exploration. My exploration is, generally speaking, perfect. I have 100% in every single area, including the new areas. It's actually my favorite thing to do, almost my favorite thing to do in the game. After I go back from work and stuff like that, I just go and try to explore stuff. Really, exploration in Genshin is actually really fun. I like the chasm in Kinumi a lot. I do like the desert area quite a bit, specifically this one. Not too much of a fan of this one. I love Inazuma, with the exception of this stupid island that has all sorts of water in it. It's kind of stupid. It really is. Other than that, I really like exploration. Spiral Abyss. My progress in Spiral Abyss have been pretty decent, I think. Um, if I were to go to summary, you'll notice that I started in June of 2022, and then by November I've been able to 36 star, and ever since I've been able to 36 star reasonably comfortably. I would say um, I think this is the very first abyss where I started actually doing it like one team for each side. Not necessarily like, yeah, I just did it like for one team only for one side and the other team for the other side. So if I go to my profile, you'll see I did Dryden double hydro on the first half this particular abyss, and then I did Ayato so-called national, although I did add Zhongli there, and I was able to 36 reasonably well. I also tried Kirara instead of Zhongli, and I was able to 36, and I also tried Sunfire instead of Zhongli, and I was also able to clear. So yeah, I think Ayato national, or probably child national, is always going to be a child international will always be really good in this. Aggravate would also be pretty good. If I were to show you my characters are pretty decently well built, I think. The very first 5 star that I got was Xiao, and as you notice, I basically stripped everything from him. I don't play him anymore. He was my very first 5 star, and I was kind of excited a little bit about him in the beginning, but really not anymore. He's not necessarily a terrible unit, but he has many issues, including energy issues. He doesn't generate as many particles. It's very difficult to play him. I guess if you like him, you can always play him, but I mean, personally, he has not really served me well in the Abyss. I mean, I was able to 36 with him in the very beginning, but really not because of him, but because of the other team. And yeah, I mean, he's a fine unit, I suppose, but not really a unit that is, I think, very enticing to pull for most people. Um, Outside of Shao, my second 5 star was actually Kazuha, and I also did win the 50-50. And Kazuha is basically the exact opposite. I didn't really care if I got him or not because I was stupid. It was the beginning of the game, and yeah, I mean he's been basically the most useful character in my entire account, and he's not even really that high investment. And if you see his artifacts, they're not really that insane. You can say his flower is kind of good, but other than that, I mean, look at the circlet. The feather's okay, but other than that, he's just not really a high investment. But he's really good. This is his split. If he's in the party, the passive for Zyphos actually gets activated, and he gets about 175 ER, which is reasonably good. I wouldn't say that it's insane or anything like that, but it's reasonable at least. After Kaza, I lost my 50-50. I did pull for Yumiya, and I got D-Luke instead. I'm not going to say D-Luke is terrible. I think he's very fun to play, but I wouldn't say that he's also my favorite character in the game. I do intend on taking these further sometime, but I've even pre-farmed for it. But I noticed that his damage was not really that good, so I just decided not to go on and level him up any further. But generally speaking, I think he's a very cool unit. I do hope that someday I do build him properly. After D-Look, I did get a guaranteed Zhongli. I don't think there's really anything that needs to be said about Zhongli. He's just an incredibly good unit. You can basically put any weapon on him. Doesn't really matter what you put. You can basically put any artifacts on him. I'm running him on two piece, which is not even good on him really. Like you probably want to go four piece tenacity or two piece or four piece in the blast or two piece in the blast, two piece archaic Petra. But I don't. I mean, I haven't really found the reason to go ahead and out of my way and farm for him because he just doesn't really need a lot of investment, and that is the main reason I really like Zhongli. I use him a lot in DBS actually. After Zhongli, I summoned for Ganyu, but I did not get her. I lost my 50-50. I'm sorry. I lost my 50-50, and it was Muna. So it was early, but it was a loss. Then after Ganyu, I summoned for Yuimiya. That was when was able to 36 my very first Abyss. I had a guaranteed, and I had an option between Yuimiya and Nahida, and I picked Yuimiya, and I've never regretted it ever since. Yuumi is an incredibly useful unit, especially if you're struggling a little bit with Abyss, because most Abyss floors have bosses, and Yuumi is basically the best boss slayer in the entire game. You can argue Hu Tao does more damage. You can argue Shangling maybe is able to sometimes output more damage, or some other teams, but they are significantly more difficult to play than Yuumi. Yuumi is ranged and very, very easy to use, so you don't really need to worry too much about rotations and stuff like that. Even artifacts are very flexible. I have not been lucky at all with my Shimenao. You'll notice that I barely have any Shimenao pieces, even though I have so many emblem pieces. But because I've never really been lucky with Shimenawa, so instead of that, I just did four-piece Crimson, and you'll notice that her artifacts are actually pretty good. And her talents, obviously, 10-10. And yeah, I mean, she's an incredibly useful unit. Again, if you're struggling with Abyss, I think she's very good. If you're not struggling with Abyss, I can definitely see why you wouldn't want to pick her up. But again, this is, I think that she's a good unit for people who just want an easy option sometimes, because you're not always in the mood to try hard and try to beat the Abyss and stuff like that. So yeah, yeah, I think she's an incredibly good unit. After Yumiya, I did win my Raiden 50-50. She's probably my main. She's the character that I like playing the most. She is on Staff of Homa, and she has four-piece emblem. Her pieces are amongst the better pieces that I have. I'm running an attack goblet. If you're wondering whether you should run an attack or electro, it really does depend on your team and your weapon. If you're running catch, attack is always better. If you're not running catch and running anything else, electro damage bonus is usually going to be slightly better, although on some teams, attack is just better. So to me, just use the one that has better substats, and I don't have an electro damage goblet that is this good. I do have actually one that is decent like this one, but I haven't really found someone to actually use it at this point. But yeah, again, I think she's a very, very decent unit. Um, oh yeah, I didn't show the talents. Obviously, double crown. This you don't have to take the 10. You can always do 9. But I mean, I've been spending so much resin trying to get power facts that gives her like a little bit of crit upgrades. I mean, might as well just spend some resources on upgrading her talents. As after Raiden, I did summon for Ayato, just because I really wanted to get Sisixara. I've always liked Ayato, and I've always thought he was incredibly useful, but I never really, I would never say that I really, 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 really wanted him. But I did get Chi-Chi instead. But then after that, I kept summoning just to get the C6 and right before I got C6 I was able to get an early Ayato. So I would say that I'm actually pretty happy that I got Ayato. I think that not rolling for him would have been a mistake on my part. So I'm kind of happy that I actually got him. His pieces are okay. He's like his flower and his feather are pretty good, but and his circlet because it's a flex. These are okay, but they're not really anything to write home about. He has his signature weapon, and I have, well, of course, he's double crowned. He's a very, very decent unit. I do like him a lot. I use him every single abyss, almost every single abyss. Sorry. So after Ayato, I did get Yelan, but of course, as it is always the custom, I did get an early loss to Muna. So Then after that, I got Yelan. Yelan is an incredibly strong unit, I think, and she's pretty decently well built. She has a pretty good amount of HP, pretty good amount of recharge. Like I don't want to just focus on crits on her. I always want to give her a lot of HP as well. You'll notice that her goblet is HP, which if you have C1 Yelan or further, hydro damage goblet is just much better. But if you have C0 on, then a hydro damage goblet is really not that far off, in my opinion, at least. Especially if you don't play vape. If you play vape, you can definitely make an argument for hydro damage goblet. But if you just care about her burst, then HP goblet is totally fair. So these are all of her pieces, and yeah, she has some good pieces, I think. But she's again very well balanced when it comes to HP and other stats as well. So yeah, I don't. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't show her talents. Yes, of course, always double crowned. After Yelan, I did get Shinha. Now I will have to admit that Shinha has not really added too much value to my account at this point. I do think she's a very good unit, and she's a unit that does not get rerun very often. So because I had the spare of primos, I just decided to go ahead and get her, and I also did invest into her. She's pretty decent, and I use her a lot in the open world. I think she's very good in the open world. But yeah, I mean she's pretty decent. She has a lot of recharge, crit rate, crit damage, and a decent amount of attack percent. Again, she's on the catch, so she doesn't have a lot of attack. But in exchange of that, we are getting a bit of energy recharge and a bit of crit rate on her burst, which is pretty nice, I think. Again, I can't say she's either good or bad to be honest, because I don't have the ICAS, so she's less useful. But I do think that in the future she'd be really good. I'd be very interested to try her out with Eula and see what I think about her later. After that, I got Ganyu, of course. Again, an early loss to Muna, so she is C2. But again, an early loss is not always something that you'd be too upset about. And then after that, I did get a Ganyu. And yeah, I'm using Moon's Moon on her. It's a very decent weapon. I did mess up her. I wouldn't say that I messed her up, but I did change her a little bit. Like I ran her on 4-piece Blizzard, but in this Abyss, it's very difficult to run her on 4-piece Blizzard. So I just decided to swap it to 2-piece to compare and contrast. I'm not too sure if it's actually been the right choice or not, but well, that's what I did at least. But yeah, she's not on like my best build at this point. She is an energy recharge timepiece, cryo damage goblet, and crit rate, I think. Yes, crit rate. And again, these are her stats, just to make sure that she gets her burst quite reliably. I'm going to show some 4 stars that I also built. I have built Kirara, kind of. I just don't have a better weapon on her, to be honest. Like, I don't know what to use on her, really. So I just went ahead and picked up this weapon because I already had it leveled up. These are her talents. I did put some investments into her. I do think she's a very good unit. Her shield is actually surprisingly decent. Like it's actually pretty good. It actually is really good. Yeah, I do like Kira a lot. Did get her C4. I'm so incredibly thankful that I did not get Yamiko because I hate her. So I'm very happy that I didn't get her. I did stop at 66 because I don't want to go any further and then get Yamiko and just regret it. I really wanted to get C4, but I just wasn't able to. I got 4 Kiraras and 4 Yunjins, and not a single Chongyongs, which I'm very happy about because now my Yunjin is C6 at least. Shinkyu is always Shinkyu is Shinkyu, I suppose. So he's always a good unit. This is his split. I do use him quite often in the EBS actually. Yeah, he's a very fine unit. Yeah, I also built Jean, Sunfire Jean. She is pretty decent. Oh, whoa. Something is definitely not right. Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I do think I've used. Am I using a Creative Cyclet? Yeah, I think because of the Favonius, I've been using a Creative Cyclet. Yes, I remember. Yeah, okay. Because of the Favonius, I've been using a Creative Cyclet. That's basically it. Yeah. So yeah, she's a pretty decent unit, and on Sunfire she's really good. Breaking shields is just incredibly easy with her, and that's something that is really good. After also I did build Kitchen, kind of, slightly, maybe. I mean, she's fine, but to be honest with you, she's not really like, insanely invested in. Like her talents are not that good. But I did give her some of my best artifacts, to be honest. And I'm trying her out right now in some of the Quicken teams. She's level 80 and her talents are not leveled up, so her performance is not the highest. But I think that there's definitely a place for her to improve, and I might very well actually go for a level 90 and then possibly triple A tier, and then see how she performs. But I do think that she is fun to play, and I do like her a little bit. So yeah, this is her pieces, and yeah, this is her split. After Kaching, I don't. I think we've glossed over Kujisawa. Kujisawa is very fine. Like she's a good unit. I do like her with Raiden a lot. Even in aggravate teams, she works really well. All we really care about is energy recharge and some crits, just to make sure that her burst packs a punch. And these are her talents. Definitely do plan on taking them further. And I didn't. Yeah, Bennett. Bennett is fair. Skyward. This is her. This is his stats. He's running a crit damage surplus because this is the only one that I have on the blast, and because I don't care too much about his damage, it's whatever kind of. C4, I refuse to crown him because I don't like him. So yeah. After Bennett, I think we will. Yeah, Kai is actually pretty underrated. I think Kai is very good. He's running on two piece. And yeah, I don't believe I actually. Yeah, I didn't mess anything up. He's a very fair unit. I do like him actually. I don't like. I do like him a lot actually. I do focus on energy recharge, and he also does ascend with energy recharge, so it's very helpful to actually get some recharge on him. And his talents are 8, 10. He's C3, so that's why this is 11. And I did crown his burst. He's actually pretty good. If you actually look at his numbers on the burst are insane. This is actually higher than Ganyu's. Like, I don't think I've shown Ganyu's talents. So this is Ganyu's talents. And you'll notice this is 126. If you look at Kaya's, it's 140, and this is a 4-star, so it has the potential of going up even more. This is actually pretty insane. Now, you can argue, and you'd be correct, that Ganyu's AoE is really good, but in situations where AoE does not matter, Kaya's damage potential actually can exceed Ganyu's a little bit, especially if you don't have another cryo with you that benefits from Ganyu's passive that gives 20% damage bonus, cryo damage bonus to characters within her field. So definitely, yeah, definitely do like Kaya a lot. Diona, very decent shielded. A little bit of recharge here would be pretty appreciated, but it's really nothing that I care too much about. And these are her talents. C6, she's pretty decent. I do like her a lot actually. I think in the beginning I basically didn't care about her, but now I do. Official, I'm pretty sure I murdered. So, oh wait, I did not. No, I did. I definitely did because I stole Ganyu's piece. But that's okay because I do think I can steal Collie's, and all I have to do is to give her. Yeah, I think I can give her the other Shiminawa piece that I. Wait. Yeah, I can give her Ningyuang's Shiminawa, obviously. Yeah, because I do remember actually building her like that previously, which is fair, I suppose. I can also swap this to get more to get more crit rate, I suppose, which probably would be a decent option now that I think of it. I think we're stealing from Ningyuang again, just to make sure that we, yeah. So she's now infinitely better. Although losing this recharge is not very good because she's C3. If she was C6, then you don't care. But because she's C3, losing this recharge is not optimal. Although I have been playing her more and more as with double Electro, which solves all of her energy issues. So yeah. Fischl is a pretty decent unit actually. I do like her a lot, but she does not like me, so she's C3. Beidou C6, and I did crown her burst. She's a pretty good unit. Obviously, she's using Serpent's Mind. I did buy the battle pass 4 times, by the way. I didn't show my spending. I'll show it a little bit later. And yeah, I'm running her on a build that does not focus as much on crits as much I do on recharge because she's not running an energy recharge timepiece, but I do have a lot of energy recharge from substats just to make sure that we're balancing her energies because her energy needs are pretty decent. Like they're actually high. Like you can't just say, oh, I'm gonna run her 120 energy recharge. It's just not possible because the burst costs 80. Shangling is okay. This weapon is decent on her, but really not insane. She's gonna have inflated crit rates and crit damage, but this is again kind of inflated because of the weapon. If I play her with Rising, I don't mind at all because she doesn't have a lot of energy recharge. But if I don't play her with Raiden, she's not always easy to maintain. Like I'm gonna need Favonius users and some funneling and stuff like that, which can get a bit tiresome. which I do use her a lot. I do actually like her a lot, and I do use her. So she's on four-piece emblem, obviously. C1 and 6 and 8. I really want to invest more into her, but man, I just cannot seem to get her for some reason. Only C1. Rosario. Rosario is a very decent unit as well. I do like her a lot. She is C3. She's actually a unit that I very recently gotten. I think I got her in 3.3. She never came home from standard. And I did invest into her pretty decently, and I definitely would want to take these even further because I do think she's a very, very strong unit. Her cryo application is incredible. The fact that her burst has no ICD is actually pretty important. She's a four-piece emblem, although I do think about changing this build a little bit because some of her emblem pieces are not really my favorite, like the circlet, for example. Lots and lots of dead stats. I suppose this is okay. This is okay. This is okay. And this is the off-piece, so it's always going to be okay. But her circlet I'm not very happy about, so definitely kind of because as you can see, I have so many characters built on emblem. Like this is emblem, this is emblem, this is emblem, this is emblem, and this is emblem, this is emblem, this is emblem. So I don't know what the number is, probably 7 or 8 characters built on emblem. So these are all the characters that I have built. Characters that I have not built, but I'm interested in building would be Candace, especially with Fontaine, because I think she'd be pretty cool in Fontaine. And I don't care about any of those really. Toma and Lisa, I definitely would want to build them, and so is Kuki and possibly Muna. So these are characters that I do care about. I'm trying out these characters right now. These are characters that I have C6. These three, I have C6. Yes, I have C6 Kave, even though I really did not want it. But yeah, so I'm just trying them out to see how I like them. I also do like Yao Yao. I built her even though she's C1. She's incredibly useful even at C1. And yeah, so these are my characters. I really do hope that you guys did enjoy this little bit of a showcase here. I do hope that you have enjoyed it. If you have anything you want to ask or anything you want to add, feel free to leave a comment and I will respond to you. Thank you very much. I hope Yumia was not too bothersome because she talks too much. But yeah, have a good one and take care.